Hello, everybody. Welcome back to In the Pit with Jeff. It's June 1st already. Um, I went out flying this past Friday. Um, I just ended up taking my little Park Zone carbon cub up for a few little boogies just to make sure the thumbs still work. I brought my dad's cub up with me, but I had a problem with the fuel filler, so I bypassed the fuel filler valve and that. But I got to throw a kit in it. I'm not sure if I have an extra one, but anyways, what we've been doing on the Mustang was masking it all out for the invasion stripes and some of the markings on Glamorous Glen. This was my dad's Mustang that he had built. Ooh, I would think he had the Hurricane, so the Mustang came after, so I'd say early 90s, possibly. Yeah, because I picked up the retract servo from Mick Reeves when I was in England, and that was in the late 80s. So, anyways, what we got here, I did a few boo-boos on it. Not gonna lie, got some overspray. I screwed up the layout of that stripe, so I scotch brighted it down. I gotta move that over when you're laying your stripes down, and then I put the tape on the quarter inch mask on the wrong side of the thing and stuff. Even though you check and recheck, there's a bit of overspray in a few spots, but this plane is going to get all down and dirty, so I think it'll work out not too bad. I'm just going to walk over here. Got her laid out, same thing, screwed up, put that on the wrong side of the line, so I'll scotch bright it and move it over. What I originally did, I got the invasion stripes here, a little bit of bleed and stuff, and then I masked that all off the other day. Painted the rudder. I'll flip her over, but she looks not too bad. You can see a lot of the details in her. Again, along here we'll run some tape. I'll just have to paint it up to match invasion stripes just to fill in that gap. And then we can start throwing in the nav light, our identification lights, cut and put the nav lights on the ends. But she's not too bad. You can still see where my dad had his original insignias there for the American. I got my brother-in-law printing me out some. I don't know if I'm gonna just do it in vinyl or I might mask it off. The white I used was just the beauty tone, and it was recreational white, and I thought that would be a lot better than a bright white because she's going to be a dirty airplane. So that kind of worked out all right. I'm gonna shut you guys off for a second and flip this beast over, and then of course I gotta, sorry about that, of course with the I just gotta get in here, paint the white on the radiator door there, oil door, just a little bit of black on the edges, and we'll be okay there. All right, I'm gonna pause you for a second and I'll be back in a moment. Hang on. All right, we're back. Flipped her over, just threw it up on the bench. So there's the black on the wing, a little bit of overspray in here. You can see the contrast now with the friggin' ductwork aluminum foil. Just give you a little bit of contrast there. Still have to spray the red L down here for just I think that's no step area, and lay in here the anti-step, like the skid stuff tape there. I think I'm just gonna glue on contact cement some fine 400 grit sandpaper just to simulate that. If we go to the photos of, this was Connie Boland's, and that, I believe, their Mustang. So you can see the walk tape right there, anti-skid walk tape. And then I think if I zoom in a bit here, it's hard to see with the glare. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll move the book. But you can kind of see the L right there, and then a little bit on the fillet for the red. Here's some other planes moving. Here's some other pictures of it. So one correction I got to do. When I sprayed the rudder yesterday, I had masked off around here, but the balance part for the rudder is actually aluminum or silver, so I have to touch that all up. Got the stripes on the tails right there, Invasion stripes on the side. Again, got some bit of bleed in that, but that's okay. We just scuff that down a little bit with some Scotch-Brite. And again, this thing's going to get all hopefully, that's my plan, so dirty it all up. So come along here, of course, the masked off fuel filler caps, but a lot of the details showed through. Actually, for a can of tin of trim clad aluminum, it's not too bad. And then we'll spray the whole thing flat, just to show you inside I redid, when I had said before, sorry about that, when I redid his instrument panel, I wanted it to be more representative of the model, the full-size airplane that this was kind of being modeled after, that was redone for the air show circuits and stuff. And just so here's some shots of their instrument panel in there. Another one there, basically, and that's what I was trying to do all in there. But again, I think I'll take her all out, the instrument panel anyways, take it out and make it more a combat instrument panel. Other than that, not too bad on it. I'm kind of happy with some of it that came out not too bad. I just gotta, just where the halfway marks, where's my finger, halfway marks, way there, along here and just around the guns, just gotta touch up around there, but it's not too bad. I'm gonna pause here for a second and I'm gonna stick the cowl on. Hang on. And I'm back. So I just threw the cowl on just so you guys can get a rough look at how things are gonna look on her. Again, I got wet sand this all down. I gotta just sand the filler a bit more down. There, I touch up some boo-boos and wet sand her down outside, and I'll hit it with the K1 primer to see if we can hide some of these little scratches in it from when I was fixing up the cowl. I took a rough mold off of this one and made my plug so I could make my cowl and that. So yeah, she's coming along, kind of happy with it. Again, I don't know, Johnny's supposed to be making the insignias and all that for me, and the lettering and that, but I might just mask everything off and spray them on, except for the tail numbers that have to go on there. I usually just do letter sets for that stuff. But we're still kicking. It's a gorgeous day out here right now. I have to take my wife later on to the doctor's. But other than that, I'll do a little bit of work. I usually come down in the morning. I mask off some stuff, run it outside, spray it. What I had done on the wing for the Invasion stripes, all I did was masked off roughly where I wanted the white, sprayed the white all down, and then when I was peeling everything back off, it was lifting the white off. Now the white was beauty tone over that recreational white, was the white right over the aluminum trim clad. Thought I could get away with it. You try and cut corners, you end up doing things 2 or 3 times. Had to sand everything down, scuff it all up, and hit it with the beauty tone primer, and then back with the recreational white again. Just giving you some lookies around here on what we've done on her. Yeah, so did that, then masked the white off, which that turned out better. What I ended up doing was just sprayed pretty well the whole area white, more concentrated where I knew the stripes were going to go. Masked that all off, and then as the flat black is trim clad, so I just hit it right over it. But when I masked off these area, masked off the wing and had the stripe here, I made sure I Scotch-Brighted it all down so it'd have some surface for the paint to bite. Yeah, so it's getting there. We'll see how far we get today on her. I gotta get molding the canopy for it. Get that all on before I get too far, because I gotta get the canopy on, then I gotta mask off. I think the real one might have been olive drab up here, but I believe they just got the flat black on the top for the anti-glare. Yeah, so hopefully she's coming along. Not too shabby, I don't think. It's not going to be a competition airplane. It's just going to be something to, finish it off and say I did it, along with many other projects down here. So we'll call it a day. Again, June 1st, beautiful day out there. I'm going to do some bit of yard work before it gets too hot. And we'll see you guys next time. All right. Thanks again. Be safe. From Jeff in the pit. Bye.